Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Halimah TheBird, and if you're visiting my channel for the very first time, you're welcome here. I do everything movie reviews, movie conversations, and TV shows, guys. So today I am going to be talking about Madam Koikoi. It is a new Nigerian series, two-part series on Netflix. Came out on the 31st of October. Yes, the 1st of October. Yes, and I think it's more like a reference to Halloween, right? It is supposed to be a horror film, and in this video, I am going to be taking you guys through everything you need to know about Madame Koi Koi. Now, let me start from the origin of Madame Koi Koi. The title of this film is The Origin, Madame Koi Koi, and this episode is The Awakening. But let me tell you guys the origin itself of Madame Koi Koi. So Madame Koi Koi is supposed to be like a ghost in Nigerian and African urban legend who owns dormitories, hallways, and toilets in boarding schools at night. While in the day school, she owns toilets and students who come to school too early or leave school late. She's often depicted wearing a pair of red heels or wearing a single heel. Now, there's always this sound that they make with the Madame Koi Koi is ko, ko, ko. So yeah, it's like she's wearing one heel. That is the real story of Madame Koi Koi. If you check Wikipedia, if you check, that's the legend of Madame Koi Koi basically, right? But for this film we are watching, or this film we're reviewing, it is the story. It is more of the story of Amanda, right? Where Amanda arrives at a boarding school and she begins to have nightmares linked to a supernatural entity with a bloody agenda. And then we see how Madame Koi takes to town to start killing people because of, I don't know, some crimes they have committed. Yes, so the story is it starts from the school. We're introduced to the school. It is a Catholic school that is facing some governmental issues. They're about to shut down, but Mother Superior, who is like the principal of the school or headmistress of the school, whatnot, she is trying to fight for the school to remain open. And then we see how they are very particular about, or we are told of how they are very particular about education in the school. They've won the scholar competition 3 years straight. But then, as we go into the story, we realize more things about the characters in the film, the school in itself, and its surroundings, right? So the cast, I'm gonna tell you most of the people that were featured in this film. We had a number of young actors and we had a number of older actors. The younger actors are supposed to be like the lead actors in this film, while the older actors are a little bit laid back. They are, supporting actors in this film, except from Mother Superior's character, which is Ireti Doyle. So for the cast, we had Iremide Adeoye, he played Idowu in this film. We had Martha Ehinome, she played Amanda. We had Ejiro Nojaife, she played Ibukun. Joseph as well, he played Lashe, the head of the boys group. And we had the other number of, young actors. We had Nene Wayo and some other younger actors as well, right, that completed the cast of the younger actors. And then for the older actors, we had Ireti Doyle, she played Mother Superior in the film. We had Chioma Akpotha, she played Ruth. She was one of the nuns in the film. We had Jude Kukuka, he played Baba. He was a staff in the school. We had Deyemi Okolawo and Baja Debule. They were the detectives in this film. And then we also had Omomi Dada, who appeared towards the end of the film, right? She had just probably like one scene or two scenes. Well, one scene that was kind of a long scene, right? Yes, so that's majorly the cast in this film. Now, so let's go on to the performances in this film. Personally, I do not have any performance that stood out. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this was mind blowing or whatnot. I didn't have that in this film. However, there are a number of people that I would like to, just recognize. I'm gonna start with Edna. She was the chatterbox in this film. That girl in school that is always talking. She wants to be friends with the new girl. Yeah, that was Edna's character, and I liked her. I liked, it was very real and original, and she just flowed, right? It was so good. Even her conversations, her dialogue was, sometimes I didn't like it, but yeah, it was smooth. It was the kind of things that young people would say, or someone of our age, someone in secondary school, the kind of conversations they would have. I liked it. I also liked Ejiro Nojai's character, that's Ibukun. Though I feel like she could have gotten more screen time, could have gotten invested a little bit more in Ibukun, but I liked her in like two scenes. Yeah, the scene where she was trying to be friends with the boys, yeah, all those gumbody. I think that scene was, it wasn't like a focus scene, but the way they just played it in, I liked it. And then the scene where she was trying to sleep with Idowu, right? Yeah, I liked that scene. I'm going to talk more about it later on, but yeah, I liked that scene as well. Another person I'd like to give credit to is the character that played Lashe. Now, personally, I have reservations about the person, right? I feel like a different person could have played that role, but I think I saw his dedication to that role. It was so good. It was, this person puts in a lot of effort, a lot of work into interpreting the role. So I do appreciate the effort. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I also liked Chukwuka in this film. It was just relaxing and nice to see him. Not like he did anything superior or whatnot. I also liked him. Ireti Doyle, now Mother Superior's character, I think I liked it and I didn't like it. There's like a conflict of interest there, but in general, I think interpretation of the role was really good. Um, yeah, the interpretation of the girl, the gaslighting, the way she was always coming out for people's blood, the way she was just on and about, I liked it, right? Yeah, so I think these are the characters that I am going to give special recognition to, even though I don't think that anybody's acting really stood out for me. Those were the people that I could say, you know yeah, they did contribute a lot to the film. Many of the female characters, apart from Ireti Doyle, now the female characters were flat. They didn't give them, not like they were flat. I think the story just did not give them so much time to explore their characters. But we'll get into that when I'm talking about the things I didn't like about this film. But yeah, in general, I think yeah, acting was really good. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed their acting. I enjoyed just watching them. I think they had so much dedication to the film again. So yes, now to the things I liked about this film. Proper. So I liked the way, yeah, I already mentioned that. I liked the way Mother Superior was gaslighting everybody. Like, it was so effortless. It was like she was made for that. It was so good. Another thing I liked was I liked the color grading, I liked the editing. It was warm, it was green, it was brown. It wasn't, the typical things we see in a lot of Nigerian film these days. So yeah, I liked that about it. I think it was fitting for the kind of film that it is. That's just what I'm going to say. I also like that it was very nostalgic. The If you went to a boarding school, I went to a boarding school, so yeah, it was really good to see, the uniforms, the school compound, the bunks, the dormitories. It was good. Though I feel like they should have given us more of the school, but we'll get into that. We're talking about the things I didn't like. But yeah, I think I liked that. I liked another thing I would say I really liked was the scene where the junior students was under the bunk. I think there were a little bit of subtle attention, like they were attention to detail, but they were not like very very loud things that would happen in the boarding school, like jumping school fence to go outside out to the outskirts of school to just be a naughty student. The student under the bunk where a student is punishing you because she didn't fetch their water. Yeah, things like that. It was just very nostalgic for me, right? Because it just makes sense. There's always the senior student who is the bully. There's always the principal's favorite set of students. There's always the, yeah, it made sense. It made sense. I liked how nostalgic the film was. I also want to mention that I liked Idowu's character and the way they were able to show the conflict of interest in the scene. That gory scene where they were trying to assault Ibukun, right? The way it was turned between, he didn't have to say anything. I think that was my favorite thing about that scene. Like, they didn't have to tell us that he felt this type of way, right? But his face, the way his body language just said everything we needed to know about that, right? I also need to mention that I really, really like the progression of this film. It was very natural. It was very smooth. It was it flowed. It had a really, really good flow. Though there were some things I didn't like about some scenes, but in general, the scenes had a really good flow. Also the gory scenes, the scenes of the abuse, actually. That's what I mean when I say the gory scene. The abuse scene. Even though I felt like we could have done without it, that scene was really, really intense. I felt every emotion. I loved the body movements. It was very original. It was very real. You know, the way the boys tore Ibukun's panties, the way her body was shaking, the hand and body movement, the that scene, it was very, I don't think we needed that much of it, but they did it well. Do you understand? So I'm a fan of, if you're going to do something, do it right. So yeah, I think they did that scene very, very well. The detailing also, yeah, I think I already mentioned that. You know, the scene where the Ibuko and Ido were gonna, you know, have consensual intercourse, and then she took off her clothes, and then they now showed the rosary, right? I think it was a very good use of irony, and I also, you know, I liked that. It was really good. In general, I liked the story. I liked the progression of the story. I liked the acting. I liked the cinematography. I like the sound of the Koikoi. Yes, let me just add that. I liked it. It was very subtle. It wasn't super pronounced, because sometimes some people can do things and you're like, please, you're doing too much. But yeah, it was subtle, because I mean, it's just shoe. Nobody's banging their feet on the ground. So yeah, I also liked that. In general, I think, you know, it was an enjoyable film. Yeah, those were the things I liked about this film, Madam Koikoi, the origin. That's the first part. As let me just add that, you know, this is just the first part that I am reviewing. When we get to the second part, we'll talk about more other things. But to the things I didn't like about this film, now this is my favorite part, like, you know. So number one thing is, guys, I've mentioned this a countless number of times. I don't like to watch trailers. I don't want your trailer in my face, because you people are lying. Your trailer is deceiving. It's very deceitful. It doesn't tell the true story you're trying to tell. Because why am I seeing Amanda in your trailer so many times? And in the film, she's very, very forgettable. Mother Superior is your focus. It's like, what exactly? Now, I actually liked the sleep paralysis scenes that Amanda have. I should have mentioned that in the things I liked. They were, yeah, they were good. But aside that, right, Amanda was very forgettable. I could go on with this film, I could go on with this review and forget that I ever saw Amanda in this film, because, yeah, I could just forget her, right? Like, why would you market a film like that with Amanda's face plastered everywhere, and then is Ireti Doyle that is all up in my face? I just didn't get it. If not for Edna, I could have forgotten Amanda. Another thing I didn't like was the dialogue. Very repetitive and very strict. Guys, I kept hearing like the same thing over and over and over and over again. This color whatever competition that they were going for, I was tired of hearing, like, every time I saw the boys and I saw them approaching Mother Superior, I just knew I was going to hear scholar something something something. Anytime I just knew scholar, like scholar, you know, I've heard it. I'm tired of hearing it. Like, it was too much. I just started feeling like, okay, is this film just going to be solely about the scholar competition, or there's more to it, right? It was just a lot. There was just a lot of repetitive dialogue, even with Edna and a friend Amanda. You know, there were a number of dialogues that I just felt like, okay, I'm done. I can't hear this anymore. Another thing was the classroom scene. That wasn't a good scene at all. It was dead on arrival. I'm sorry, but two things about that scene, right? First off, when Lashe was showing off and, and Amanda was trying to prove him wrong, I'm like, no Nigerian teacher is going to allow you to do that. Flex your knowledge in their class. It's not happening, my dear. It is not happening. Scrap it, scrap it. It is not happening. Not in a Nigerian school, especially not with a teacher. Like, it's not happening. And another thing, I'm like, shey this teacher no sabi book. Like, what's this chemistry teacher doing? You know, sabi book, abi you sabi book. Which one is it? Because one minute you're agreeing with Lasha, like even if you know it, you don't need to do. And next minute you're like, she's actually right. I'm not. I'm like, Mr. Chemistry, sir, please, which one is it? Is Lasha right or is Amanda right? Like, pick a side, brother. You can't be here and there. Another thing I feel like they should have given us more was the people, right? The students in the school felt like extras. I know that they are extras. I know that they are not the main focus. I know that we are focus. Yes, that makes sense. But they felt like extras. Like I could say, oh yes, these people are just extras in this film. They were not like students to me. I didn't know anything about them, and I feel like they could have even brought them in gist. Like, if you know boarding schools, we live off gist. Like my school, like I'm gonna give personal experience if we get it. Like there was a time something happened in school, right? It happened at Tapere, and Tapere is like really far from the hostel block. And before you get to hostel block, everything has spread. Do you understand? The fact that Ido was not in school, it would have spread. Though we had like two or three people saying, maybe he went home, whatever. I don't even know. But I'm like, people live off gist in boarding schools. So we could have just made some of these people more relevant by giving them gist to talk about, right? Like nothing about them felt like they were in that school. Another thing I would say I didn't like was the fact that apart from Idowu's killing, Mother Koikoi, Madam Koikoi's killings were very irrelevant to me. They didn't matter, right? Also, I feel like Madame Coca is supposed to be a school legend, right? It's a boarding school legend, but in this film, it felt more like a city legend, which I had a conflict of interest about that because I know Madame Coca to be about boarding schools, right? So the killings about people that I don't even know, like that somebody that stole something from one woman that was coming from the farm or one drunk guy. I'm like, okay, why are you? Why are you? I don't care about you. Even Idowu killing, right? We had not established much of a relationship with Idowu to care about him. And he was a rapist, so obviously we didn't care about Idowu. So, Madame Kokoi was kind of not doing her job. I don't know, because I feel like Madame Kokoi should have done more. I feel like in part one, maybe in part two, we'll get more of Madame Koikoi's killings. But in part one, she could have given us more. There should have been more about her. Another thing I didn't like, God, I'm gonna go on and on and on. Okay. Another thing I didn't like was the fact that there was the narrative of a pedophile with one of the detectives. Let me even say that detectives, I don't even understand their job because they're not doing anything. They're just there. You come to school, you ask principal, okay, anybody missing in your school, blah blah blah, and she say no, and you move on. When there's an actual student where like nobody's trying to identify this boy, we understand that okay, probably doesn't have family, so yeah, if nobody's going to care about him, but like as a detective, you're not doing your job, you're not asking student that okay, is anybody like I don't know. There was just not this push from them, right? So yeah, I didn't like that. Another thing I would say is that oh yeah, I was talking about the pedophile before I digress. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that the narrative of the pedophile, like I didn't see why it was necessary to make Baladebule's character. I don't know what his name was, but the police officer. I didn't see the reason why they needed to make him a pedophile. Looking at the girls and all of that. Like it was irritating for me to watch. I'm like, why? I don't understand. And my most important point that I kept for this long, I should have said it at the beginning, is that I don't think personally I love horror movies. Like I live off horror movies. Well, no, I live off horror movies, but yeah, you get the point. I absolutely love horror movies. It's just lately that I feel like a lot of people don't even know how to make horror movies anymore. But this movie had absolutely zero elements of horror in it. First off, they were trying, oh, I'm not gonna lie, they were trying to, make the sound effects. They tried with that one. The old red light thing here anytime Madame Conquer was coming, they tried with that one. But the real effect of horror is when we see what has happened. But we didn't. We didn't see anything happen, right? Anytime Madame Conquer is about to kill somebody, just and then they take it out. Okay, let's see this body now. Let's see. I feel like because she was defacing these humans, right? Let's see how she defaced them. Let's feel something. I didn't see that. I didn't understand why they did not show me. I'm not gonna make excuses for them. Yeah, so I don't know why they didn't show me that. I felt like I needed to see, that to make it gory, at least to make me feel like, oh yes, I'm watching a true horror movie as a true horror movie fan. Anyways, my last point, yes, is that I don't know why they said that we should watch this thing two times. Me, when you marketed this film to, even though they did not even do any marketing, that's another thing. Say, why didn't they do marketing for this film? I don't understand. Anyways, in the marketing of this film, they did not tell you that it's two film that we are watching. They did not say anything. I didn't even know it was two parts. So when I went on Netflix and I'm like, okay, let me watch, and I'm seeing episode one. I'm like, say it's weekly episode they want to be dropping me. Abi, what's the end game here? Then I now realized that, oh, it's a two-part film because I saw it on, I think Netflix later posted something about it, right? So like, I don't know, markets the right thing for us, to be honest. Like, why are you people telling us one thing and not telling us the other thing? That's why you people told us it's Amanda's story. Maybe in the second part now we'll get to see more of Amanda. So let me not be too judgmental with that. Yes, I take that back. I take that back. But yeah, maybe in the second part we get to, maybe Amanda gets established more because it's a two-part film. But so far, I just felt like you could have just given it, and I think maybe there wasn't a lot of budget put into marketing. That's why they split it into two parts, so that the first one will create arousal or arousal. Which one is correct, guys? Arousal, yeah. The first one will create arousal, and then people will not anticipate the second part. So if the first one everybody's talking about it, then we can now say, okay, I want to watch the second part, right? So maybe that's the end game, or that's the thought process, which to be honest, it makes sense if that's the thing. But generally, I just feel like we should have been able to watch everything all at once. But in general, this movie was worth it. I totally enjoyed watching it. I know I say a lot of bad things, a lot of negative things, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed watching this film. It was very nostalgic for me, and that's like the most important thing. And it was very Nigerian. Oh my god, I didn't mention that. It was very, very, very Nigerian. No Hollywood thingy going on there. I liked that. Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed watching this film. I'm definitely gonna recommend, if you're, though I don't understand what genre I'm gonna put it in, because I don't think it is horror. Abuse, maybe. Abuse is not a genre. But yeah, you get the point. It was definitely an interesting watch. Personally, I loved, most of the things that happened in this film. I'm going to rate it a 5.5 over 10. Yes, a 5.5 over 10. And this is because, actually, a 6. Sorry, I take that back. A 6 over 10. I'm just remembering that there was no Hollywood drama in this film, yeah, and that deserves an extra point. So yeah, a 6 over 10 for me. Have you seen this film? Have you seen Madame Koikoi, The Origin, the first episode, The Awakening? Yeah, that was actually kind of Hollywoodish. The Awakening sounds very Hollywoodish, but yeah. In general, it wasn't a bad watch. I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm gonna recommend that you should definitely check it out as well. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about Madam Koi Koi, The Origin, in the comment section. And if you've not seen it, let me know if you're going to be watching it. The second part is coming out this week. So yeah, I'm going to be back to talk about that. This took me a while to talk about because I didn't have the time to watch. And I just got to watch it yesterday. So yeah, that's why you're getting it today. Anyways, let me know your thoughts, your comments in the comment section. Yeah, I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.